Hi, I'm Lisa Zabaniak from Life Like You Mean It. And today we're going to talk about opening up your heart to the vibrations of love. Now, this video is in two main parts. First of all, we are going to talk about what that even means to open up your heart. And second, we are going to look at three methods that you can use on a regular basis in order to help to raise your vibration to allow your heart to be open to love. Let's get started. So, part one, we are looking at what do we even mean when we say to open up the heart to increasing the vibration towards love. Obviously, we are not talking about literally opening up the heart. We are talking about energetically, though, opening up the heart space to allow for the energy of love to be attracted to us. And the reason that that would be something that we would need to do is multifold, really. So there are some people that would find that they just get so kind of caught up in the day-to-day business of life that they don't really realize that they're not putting attention and energy into the things that they are looking to manifest, looking to turn into their reality. And so, because their focus is elsewhere, they perhaps don't have the relationship that they have always desired to have. It's also possible that there are people that are watching that can relate to having bad relationships in the past or simply being hurt in the past. So, where you had perhaps a very loving relationship, but it didn't work out. And of course, you get hurt emotions during that. And so, we can't help but put the walls up, so to speak, in order to help protect ourselves. And the problem with those walls being up is that while we realize that it's not physical walls, they are energetic walls. And that means that as love energy is trying to find you, they've got a lot of wall here that they've got to get through. And that's just a metaphor for the fact that if you're not open for this energy, you're not going to be attracting it because you attract what it is that you are giving off. So if you are giving off more of an energetic vibe about wanting to protect yourself or being fearful of being hurt, then you are going to be projecting that out to the world, and that's what's going to be returning to you. And so instead, if we can get you to open up your heart space, looking forward for the opportunity to have love, then you're sending that out into the universe and you will have that come back to you. And of course, if you've got walls up, there's always the possibility that love is coming into you, but you are not able to see it because you've got that protection barrier up. So, this is just as much about allowing yourself to receive love as it is for you putting love out there yourself into the universe. So, while I have you here, let's just talk really briefly about the ethos of witchcraft, which you haven't seen my video on that. You can check out right here. But essentially, I get a lot of people that get in touch with me wanting love spells. And what they want is actually to attract a very particular person, right? They want to have Derek back, their ex, or they want to attract somebody that they've been lusting over for a long time. And rather than doing that, I instead shift over to what we're talking about today, which is actually clearing out the blockages that you may have to attracting and receiving love and rather allow ourselves to focus on opening up that heart space so that you are willing to receive, you are wanting to receive, and then you actually receive. And that's also something that I teach in my Witch membership, which, if you'd like to check out, you can click the link in the description or check out this QR code here. So, part two of our video, we are going to talk about three different methods that you can use regularly so that you can clear those blockages and open up that heart space. So, when we go to clear energy, we're just simply looking to clear the energy that is stagnant or no longer serving you. And that includes that energy from those past relationships that didn't work out, that have you fearful of being hurt again. It includes that energy of fear or a lack of relationship or anything like that at all, any kind of blockage that might be hindering and keeping that heart space closed. And so, while there are several different ways to clear the energy, I just want to give you two very brief examples. So, first of all, because most likely you are showering on a daily basis, you can actually use the shower or the bath as your method of clearing by simply having the intention that as the water is falling over you, it is washing away all of the energy that no longer serves you and all of the energy that is not yours, right? Because oftentimes when we get into conversations with other people and certainly relationships with other people, we end up with a cord that is keeping us kind of tethered to them on an energetic level. And so we don't necessarily want that energy that they might be giving towards us without even realizing it just by thinking about us because we have those cords in place, right? So one of the ways of clearing is just simply allowing that to wash off of you in the shower. The second way of dealing with that is actually to do a cord cutting spell. Right, and, a lot of people that don't necessarily resonate with witchcraft, they might look at that word spell and be like, "Oh, no, no, that's not for me." But really what we're doing here is just intentionally having a look at all of the different chords that might be in place between you and those other people or other circumstances, and you're making a decision about whether or not you would like to keep them in place. Now, just because you cut a cord doesn't mean that your relationship with that person is cut. So let me give you a really good example, right? So I've got two stepsons, and from time to time, like any other family, there is some strife there, right? There's some sort of argument that happens or just something that has happened there. And so I can very easily go in and find that cord. I've got many cords that are attaching me to both of my stepsons. And for the most part, many of them are lovely, right? Especially the ones that are attached into my heart space. But there are a few that would be attached that would come up after a disagreement or an argument or strife or whatever it is that's happened. So when I want to clear that, when I'm ready for that, I go in and find that particular chord and I just do a cutting action or do a cutting action or do it as a spell where I literally take a candle for myself, a candle for them, and tie a string between them. And again, it's all about intention, right? I'm not asking for this person to be cut out of my life, but just that difficulty, that energy, that stagnant energy that's no longer serving us. The argument is done and dusted. It's time to move on. And so I'm going to cut those cords that were holding me to the argument, right? So me to that person because of the argument. So that's a brilliant way to clear out past relationships. And sometimes you will find, especially with a past relationship, that you are ready for that person to be cleared as well. And so again, that's just with intention. So rather than it just be that argument, as in my last example, you can literally do the exact same things, but imagine that the cords that are attaching you to this person, all of them are being cut and you are free from them. So now that we've got that energy clear, we can move into our second method, which is what I call the heart breath. And other people call it the Trinity. There's lots of different, some people just call it the grounding method. But basically, what I do, because I'm a big fan of breath work and I'm a big fan of meditation, I combine the two of them together. And I usually actually do this standing because I find it easier to imagine. And you'll see what I mean as I walk you through this. So essentially, what I do is I start out and oftentimes will place my hands on my heart space and I will actually imagine my breath as I take nice, slow, deep breaths is actually coming right into the heart space. And then when I breathe out, it just opens, right? So I'm kind of picturing this opening up of the heart space with my breath. And then once I've got that, that might be 3 breaths, it might be many, many, many breaths, right? Depending on the day that I've had. So once I feel like I can feel that energy moving in that heart space, then what I do is purposely with the next breath, I will draw in energy to the heart. And when I breathe out, I will push that energy down through my torso, through my legs, out the bottoms of my feet, and imagine that energy going right down into the core of the earth. And once I can imagine that it has reach the core of the earth. On my next inhale, I bring in all of the divine energy from Mother Earth, that sustenance that Mother Earth provides, life itself, right? Pull that energy up through my feet, up my legs, up my torso, into my heart. And then on my next exhale, imagine that going out to my whole body, feeding every cell in my body. And I will do that at least 3 times. And then I will turn and I will do the exact same thing, starting with my heart, but on the exhale, coming up my crown and up into the universe, up into space until it finds an anchor point. And then again, I will draw in with my next inhale all of the wisdom of the universe. And I'll pull that energy in to my heart on the in breath. And on my exhale, I will allow that to spread out to every cell of my being. When I've done that at least 3 times, I combine the two. So I allow myself to feel the energy come in through my crown, stop at my heart, then go down through my feet and out into the core of Mother Earth. And then I pull it up through Mother Earth, out of Mother Earth, up through my legs, into my heart where I pause, and then back up through my crown and out into the universe. So it feels like the energy is flowing right through me, that I am a conduit for this energy. And it's incredibly grounding. But because I started here in the heart space, it feels like my heart is full, but that I haven't just kept it there. I've allowed that energy to flow through all of the cells of my being. And that brings us to our third method for opening up our heart to the vibrations of love, which is to use daily intention. Now, this can be done in a lot of different ways, and people resonate with it differently. And the one thing that I do hear that is not always positive about doing daily intentions or affirmations or whatever it is that you like to call them is that, sometimes people will say, well, they don't work. And my response to that is that you need to make sure that you are allowing yourself to feel what it is that you are saying. So if you are saying to yourself, for example, now this has nothing to do with love, but everybody can relate to money as well, right? If you are saying to yourself, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, and you're negative in your bank balance and you don't know how you're going to pay your next phone bill, your unconscious mind is aware of that. It knows your situation. So when you're trying to tell yourself that you're a millionaire, your unconscious mind is going to say, no, you're not. And let me point out all the ways that you're not. Let me show you the evidence. Right? So your unconscious mind isn't trying to be a jerk. It is trying to protect you, though, and it knows. So you need to make a daily intention or affirmation that is something that you can connect with emotionally. So, for example, using that money example again, instead of it being, I'm a millionaire, which you are not in this moment, and your unconscious mind knows you're not, you can sit and just ask yourself, well, what is it about having $1 million that's important to me? And oftentimes, when people do something like that, when they really go and ask themselves this question over and over again, at the root of it, it's something to do with either feeling financially secure or feeling stable or feeling proud, feeling a sense of accomplishment. So once you get to something that you can actually feel, something that you have experienced before, even if it wasn't with the same context. So you might be very proud of yourself and have lots of accomplishments you can look back on, but they have nothing to do with money. That is no problem. When you come up with your daily intention that you want to say, you can say something like, I am so proud of all of my accomplishments. And then you can actually recall what it was like to feel that sense of accomplishment with something else entirely. Right? So you are actually showing your unconscious mind that you have done this. So when you are saying it in present tense, not I will be so proud of myself once I earn $1 million, it's, I am so proud of myself now that I have earned this $1 million. Your unconscious mind has the opportunity to sit there and say, wait a second, we haven't earned $1 million. I know it's in our bank account, but because you're connecting with the emotion, of what it feels to be so proud of yourself for that accomplishment, which is actually something that you have accomplished in the past. It tells your unconscious mind that you have experienced this. And because then you're then attaching that to, in this case, the money in this example, then your unconscious mind believes you. It no longer tries to convince you of all of this evidence that it has against what you are saying. So, having a daily intention is obviously going to be very specific for you. So, if you are having struggles with being open to love, as we talked about before, there could be many different reasons for that. So, first, get in touch with what your reason is. Once you have done that, then you can actually get clear on, okay, so what is my intention? Right? So if you realize that you've got a lot of walls up from a lot of hurt in the past from past relationships, then perhaps that's where you want to start is with the intention of being free from those walls. Right? So I feel the freedom of no walls, right? I feel the freedom of being open to love, right? But you have to be able to have a time in the past when you felt freedom in a similar way. Again, it doesn't have to be about love, but you do have to have that experience to draw back on. So if you don't, then you just go, okay, so what can I navigate in here to find something that is something that I do have a past experience with that I can bring into the table, bring onto the table, right? So that I can actually feel it and then create a positive intention or a daily intention to use with that. And then, of course, every time that you say that daily intention, you need to stop, close your eyes, remember that feeling, remember what it was like to experience that, and then start to say your intention. So you're placing that experience, past experience you've actually had, onto your words, which are worded as if you've already accomplished this. It's in the present tense. I have this, not I'm going to have this. But because you've already connected with the emotion, you are actually projecting that onto your words. Your unconscious mind will believe it. So if you are digging the whole idea about spells and working with energy and you want to learn more, then go ahead and use this QR code or click the link in the description for the Patreon Witch membership. I'd love to see you there and help guide you on your journey. I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I did. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and click that bell icon so that you always get notified when I drop another video. Bless.